We are defining what it means to be regional in scope and local in action. Together, we are putting into action the Cascade Agenda. We are creating a region that will sustain itself over the next century by protecting more than 1 million acres and building great communities. And just as with the Cascade Land Conservancy 5 years ago, we are acting with people and organizations across the Olympic Peninsula to draft the Olympic Agenda, which also will be regional and mindful of local distinctions. Now I want to talk to you about innovation and conservation. These seem like opposite concepts. They don't play well together. It is almost like we need to sit them at tables on opposite sides of this room. With conservation, you keep what you have the same. With innovation, you change it. My job over the next few minutes is to convince you that we have drawn these seemingly archly different concepts together, innovation, conservation, to powerfully transform this region. Now, our most fundamental innovation was simply to recognize that we could and should innovate conservation. Let me explain. Einstein famously once said that the very core, the very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, we recognized that if we really wanted to make a difference, if we wanted to keep the best of the Northwest, we needed to get our region out of its rut. We needed to change how we build on, save, and care for the landscapes that we all so cherish. So here's how we molded innovation right into the core values, the DNA of the Cascade and Olympic agendas, so that we can help our region get out of its rut. Here's innovation number one. We have learned that if we want to save great landscapes, we must have great communities, communities where people choose to live. Underscore that word choose, and of course can afford to, instead of relentlessly sprawling across our landscapes. We understand, we recognize that cities are not an environmentalist's worst nightmare. Built right, attractive, affordable city neighborhoods will be our best hope. So here's innovation number two. We recognize that environmental conservation and economic vitality work best when they work together. A sustainable region is not just woods, waters, and wildlife. It must embrace a human element. No matter how right we might be, unless folks feel like they're getting heard, getting a fair shake, our work itself will not sustain over the long run. Aligning our communities, our economy, and our environment will ensure this region will flourish. So, one final innovation. We know that accomplishing our bold goals requires a big tent of leaders. Well, look at all of you in this room today. You will not find a bigger tent in this region anywhere, and we all are ready to work and act as one. So, what does all this innovation sum up to? With these innovative core values, we've accomplished much for our region since the Cascade Agenda first began. I'll give you just 3 examples. For our sound, a year ago, protesters were locking their arms, trying to block controversial plans on Maury Island's waterfront. Now, thanks to our work, the engagement of the landowner, and the work of many of the elected officials here in this room today, we have a renewed chance to protect our most precious Puget Sound waterfront. For our communities, we have green city programs and land stewards throughout the region restoring our neighborhood parks. Last year alone, we had 1,000 events where 11,000 volunteers met their neighbors and transformed their parks. That is more than 5 times the number of people in this room today. That is a number greater than the entire city population of Woodinville. So now for our ecosystems. We are looking at new ways to make our ecosystems more resilient, productive. So in Tacoma's Commencement Bay, we are working with NOAA and others to advance the Cascade agenda by using funds from the cleanup of toxic dumps to create first-rate aquatic habitat. So a few minutes ago, conservation and innovation may have seemed in stark contrast. Now, I hope you will all agree that they combine mightily under the Cascade and Olympic agendas. So make no mistake, innovation is needed. The devastating Gulf of Mexico oil spill is now part of our 24-hour news cycle. No matter our individual political views, no matter, we all see the need for a more fuel-efficient society. Well, one way we can do this is by stopping sprawl and creating efficient, active communities. And we are doing it with the Cascade agenda and Olympic agenda, and we're doing it the way everyone can support. So if we get it right here at home, other communities surely will follow. A path for real change can start here and lead all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. One last observation. A century may seem like a long time, but consider this. My grandfather was born in the 1860s. My son and daughter will see well into the latter part of this 21st century. The Cascade and Olympic agendas are creating the foundation for a healthy environment and a prosperous century. Healthy environment and prosperous century. So seen from this light, that's not revolutionary. It's merely prudent. So here's my promise to you. The work of the Cascade Land Conservancy will continue to be a leading example of this region's forward-thinking, creative, innovative spirit. Our families, our communities, and our environment demand nothing less. Thank you.
Washington State is recognized around the world as the home of innovation, a place that is defined by its creative spirit, a place where people and their ideas drive the economy. And this innovation is matched only by the breathtaking natural beauty that surrounds us, the Cascades on a clear day, the rolling sage hills east of the mountains, the Olympic Peninsula's vast ancient forests. More and more people are discovering this beauty and the extraordinary quality of life it brings. In the next 100 years, our region's population will double, adding enough people to fill 6 cities the size of Seattle. Where we live, how we will get to work, and what our neighborhoods will look like are some of the biggest questions we face today. And these are the very questions that the Cascade Land Conservancy set out to answer with our region's 100-year vision and immediate action plan, the Cascade Agenda. Together with our partners, we are working to protect more than 1 million acres of farms, forests, and natural areas. And we are making our cities and towns great places to live. To improve